Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in purpose, there comes a time when life shakes us not to destroy us, but to reveal what cannot be broken. Storms are not signs of your weakness. They are proof that you are moving towards something greater. If you were meant to remain small, life wouldn't bother sending storms your way. The storm is not your enemy. It is your elevator to a higher level. There will be winds that try to push you off course, voices that tell you you're not enough, and fears that whisper, "What if you fail?" But hear me, fear is a liar. It magnifies the problem and minimizes your potential. When the storm rises, stand firm. Not because you are strong on your own, but because your purpose is stronger than the pressure. You might bend, but you won't break. You may cry, but you won't collapse. You may stumble, but you will not stay down. Some of you are fighting storms that no one sees, battles in your mind, doubts in your heart, voices telling you to quit. But this is not the time to surrender. This is the time to anchor your feet and say, "I was made for this." Fear will always try to chain you to your past, but faith pushes you toward your future. Fear tells you to stay where it's safe, but faith whispers, "Walk forward anyway." Growth lives beyond fear. Each storm is shaping you, making you wiser, stronger, deeper, preparing you for rooms you haven't yet entered, and victories you haven't yet celebrated. So today, choose courage over comfort. Choose movement over fear. Choose purpose over anxiety. You are not merely surviving, you are rising. You are not crumbling, you are transforming. The storm will pass. The fear will fade. And when the clouds clear, you will see that you were not being buried, you were being planted. Stand steady. Conquer fear. Your future is calling, and it is brighter than any storm before you. Victory is on the other side. Keep moving. Storms don't define you, they refine you. When the winds of life begin to howl and the ground beneath your feet trembles, it may feel as though everything is falling apart. But look a little deeper, and you will realize that the storm is not here to destroy you. It is here to shape you. The pressure you feel is not evidence of your inadequacy. It is proof that you are being prepared for a greater purpose. Diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is purified by fire, and mountains are shaped by time and force. In the same way, your character is sculpted through challenges. If life always remained peaceful and predictable, you would never discover the strength that lies within you. It is in the storm that your true nature is revealed. Some people allow storms to define them. They carry the hurt, the disappointment, the betrayal like a permanent identity. But storms are not meant to label you, they are meant to elevate you. You might have cried at midnight, felt forgotten, or wondered why life became so heavy. Yet every storm carries a message. You are stronger than you think. The very thing that tried to break you is becoming the tool that builds you. Every strong person you admire has weathered storms. They have stood in places where fear tried to suffocate them. Doubt whispered lies in their ears, and circumstances made giving up look easier than moving forward. But they endured, and because they endured, they matured. What separates those who rise from those who fall is not the size of the storm, but the response to it. When you understand that storms refine, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this storm teaching me?" Every challenge carries wisdom. Every hardship carries insight. Every test carries transformation. Sometimes life will take away what you are holding on to so tightly, not to punish you, but to make room for something greater. The storm shakes loose what you do not need. It pulls apart what was too weak to carry you into your next season. You may feel loss, but realize that it is purposeful pruning. A tree must lose leaves to survive winter and bloom again in spring. In the same way, you will lose some things, some people, some places, but only so you can grow stronger, deeper, and more rooted in purpose. When storms come, they expose the foundation. You begin to see what you were truly anchored to: fear or faith, people or purpose, comfort or calling. If the storm knocks down parts of your life, perhaps those parts were not built to last. But what remains, your resilience, your hope, your courage, is what proves your strength. The storm reveals your capacity. There is a power inside you that rises when everything around you falls. You may bend under pressure, but you are built not to break. Even when the rain is relentless and the winds seem never-ending, remember this: storms don't last forever. Once the clouds clear, you will see more clearly. You will recognize that you are wiser because of what you endured. You are more compassionate, more discerning, more grounded. You are no longer who you were before the storm. You are stronger. The storm was not your ending. It was your beginning. Fear is a liar. Faith is a weapon. Fear will come dressed like truth, whispering limitations, magnifying the danger, and shrinking your confidence until you forget who you are. Fear speaks loudly, but it has no foundation except the permission you give it. It tells you that you can't, that you're not enough, that you will fail before you begin. It paints the worst possible picture and convinces you to live inside imaginations that may never come to pass. Fear loves to paralyze your steps, holding your future hostage with threats of uncertainty. But understand this: fear does not tell you what's real, it tells you what could go wrong. Faith, on the other hand, tells you what is possible. There will come moments when your dreams seem too large, your path too unpredictable, and the mountain standing in front of you too steep to climb. In those moments, fear says, "Turn back," but faith rises and whispers, "Take one more step." Fear looks at the storm, faith looks beyond it. Fear counts obstacles, faith counts opportunities. Fear is rooted in what you see, faith is rooted in what you believe. You must decide which voice will command your destiny. Fear will always show up when you're on the edge of something great. It knows that if you move forward, you will unlock a version of yourself that is unstoppable. So it builds walls made of doubt. It brings the memory of past failures to the front of your mind. It reminds you of the voices that once said you couldn't do it. But faith brings a different memory: what you have survived, what made you stronger, what led you here. Faith doesn't deny problems, it refuses to be controlled by them. You conquer fear not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by refusing to let it make your decisions. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move anyway. Faith turns trembling steps into triumphant strides. Every time you move forward despite fear, you weaken its grip. Fear loses power the moment you stop feeding it with attention and start fueling faith with action. There are doors meant for you that only open when you walk toward them. Many people stand outside those doors, waiting for fear to vanish. But fear does not leave first, you must move first. Faith is activated by movement. When you take that first step, even unsure, even shaking, faith meets you there and multiplies your strength. What looked impossible becomes achievable because faith shifts your perspective. It teaches you to see not just what is, but what could be. Fear is loud, but it has no true authority. It cannot stop you without your cooperation. It builds imaginary prisons, and too many live inside them without realizing the door is unlocked. Faith walks in and pushes the door open. It declares that your destiny is bigger than your doubt, that your purpose is greater than your anxiety, and that your future is stronger than your fear. Inside you is a weapon more powerful than anything fear can bring: belief. Faith can break chains, open paths, and turn obstacles into stepping stones. It transforms hesitation into confidence and impossibility into reality. Fear wants you to settle. Faith calls you to rise. Fear wants you stuck. Faith says move. Fear says surrender. Faith says conquer. When you choose faith over fear, you step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Stand firm even when you feel shaken, because stability is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to hold onto purpose when everything around you is trying to uproot you. Life has a way of testing the foundation you stand on. One day the path feels clear, the sun is shining, and everything seems to align. Then suddenly, without warning, a storm rises. The ground you trusted begins to tremble. The plans you made unravel, and the certainty you held onto slips through your fingers. In moments like that, your strength is not measured by how loudly you roar, but by how deeply you are anchored. There will be seasons when you don't feel strong, when the weight of your challenges makes your knees buckle, when the voices of doubt pound against your confidence. You might feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or afraid. That's human. But feeling shaken does not mean you are defeated. The same tree that bends under the wind does not fall because its roots run deep. In the same way, you must dig your roots into purpose, into faith, into the belief that your life has meaning beyond the moment you are facing. Standing firm doesn't mean you never cry. It doesn't mean you never question or struggle. It means you don't let the storm make your decisions for you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply remain. Hold your ground. Refuse to surrender your mind to fear or your future to despair. There are times when movement is victory, but there are also times when endurance is triumph. Just because the wind is strong doesn't mean it will last. Storms are temporary, purpose is permanent. When life shakes you, it reveals what you are truly anchored to. Some people cling to comfort, and when the ground moves, they fall. Others cling to their own understanding, and when life twists beyond logic, they break. But those who cling to purpose, those who stand on conviction, endure what others cannot. If your confidence is rooted in things that change, then when those things shift, your identity collapses. But if you root yourself in something deeper, your values, your calling, your inner strength, no storm can tear you away. Every trial you face teaches you something about who you are. You are stronger than you believed. You are more resilient than you imagine. Each time you rise after being shaken, you develop spiritual muscle. You learn that your stability does not come from the world around you, but from the fire within you. Pressure does not destroy you, it reveals you. Sometimes you discovered your strength only after life demanded it. Standing firm is an act of defiance against chaos. It is choosing to believe that the storm will pass, that clarity will return, that purpose will prevail. You might not know how you'll make it through, but you trust that you will. You might not see the way forward, but you believe the path will appear. You might not understand the reason behind the shaking, but you know there is purpose in every process. And here's the truth: the enemy is not the storm, midst the surrender. The leap into hopelessness is what crushes destiny. But if you keep your footing, even weakly, even trembling, the storm cannot uproot you. The ground may shake, but the core of who you are remains intact. You may wobble, but you don't fall. You may be bruised, but you are not broken. You are built to endure. You are designed to rise. There is steel in your bones and purpose in your breath. Hold steady. The wind will eventually calm, the clouds will lift, and when they do, you will find that you are still standing not because life was easy, but because you refused to let the shaking define you. You grow the most when you move through the unknown. Growth rarely comes from the places where everything feels safe and predictable. It is born when life nudges you out of your comfort, pushes you beyond what you've mastered, and invites you to walk into spaces where you don't have all the answers. The unfamiliar is uncomfortable because it demands that you depend on something deeper than routines or habits. It requires courage. It awakens a part of you that remains dormant when everything stays easy. The unknown is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to reveal you. When you go where you have never been, you begin to discover what you never knew you carried, strength you didn't know you had, creativity you hadn't used, wisdom you hadn't tapped into. You uncover layers of yourself that comfort never required. The unknown is where potential becomes real. Every new season, every new challenge, every new risk stretches you beyond your old limits and allows you to grow into a new version of yourself. There is a reason so many people stay stuck. They fear the uncertainty more than they desire the growth. They would rather cling to familiarity, even if it's limiting, than step into something greater. But the uncomfortable path is often the birthplace of transformation. You cannot discover new horizons while standing on familiar shores. You must be willing to walk into the unfamiliar, even if you walk slowly, even if you walk trembling. The unknown is the classroom of growth. It teaches you to trust your instincts, sharpen your focus, and rely on inner guidance rather than external approval. When you step into territory without a blueprint, you start building faith. You learn how to take risks, how to adapt, how to persevere. You learn to lean into possibility instead of fear. The unknown strips away illusions of control and teaches you to live from intention rather than anxiety. There will be moments when stepping into the unknown feels terrifying. You will question yourself, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I lose what I have? But the bigger question is, what if this is where I'm meant to grow? What if this is the step that changes everything? What if this is the doorway to the life I've been dreaming of? Every breakthrough sits on the other side of uncertainty. Every great story begins with a step of faith. Look at your life, every major change, every moment of maturity. Every season of elevation came after you faced something unfamiliar. You learned to handle challenges that once scared you. You survived transitions you thought would break you, and now you are stronger because you moved through what you once feared. The unknown reshapes you. It forces you to release old identities that no longer serve your purpose. It teaches you to trust your own resilience. It exposes doubts and insecurities not to shame you, but to teach you how to overcome them. Growth is not comfortable. It requires letting go of control, of comfort, of fear. But in exchange, it gives you wisdom, confidence, and clarity. There is purpose in every unfamiliar path. There is opportunity in every uncertain season. The unknown is not a void. It is a space filled with possibility. You are not walking into emptiness. You are walking into potential. You are being guided into chapter you have not yet read. And if you have the courage to take the step, you will find that everything you need will meet you along the way. You grow because you move. You evolve because you enter spaces that challenge you. You rise because you refuse to remain where life has outgrown you. The unknown is not your enemy. It is your invitation. Step into it and watch yourself become more than you ever imagined. Your destiny is bigger than the battles around you. So often, the struggles you face seem overwhelming, loud, constant, demanding your attention, as if they are the most powerful force in your life. But they are not. They are simply distractions standing in the shadow of a much greater purpose. Every battle is temporary, while the destiny placed within you is permanent. You were not created for defeat. You were created for divine assignment. The challenges you see now are only chapters, not the ending. They may slow you, stretch you, and even wound you, but they cannot destroy you. What has been placed within you is greater than what stands against you. Many people measure their lives by the size of their battles. They look at the weight of their problems and assume it reflects the worth of their lives. But understand this: great purpose attracts great pressure. The intensity of your struggle is often a sign of the magnitude of your calling. If your destiny were small, your battles would be light. If your purpose were shallow, your challenges would be simple. But because there is greatness assigned to you, because there is impact, growth, and influence assigned to you, you face resistance. Not because you are weak, but because you are powerful. The storm is confirmation, not condemnation. Every battle you encounter is shaping you, sharpening you, and preparing you for the next level of your journey. Destiny does not arrive fully formed. It is built through experiences that strengthen your foundation. A champion is not crowned in comfort. They are formed in conflict. The process of becoming who you are destined to be requires endurance. You develop wisdom by facing confusion. You build resilience by facing pressure. You gain clarity by walking through uncertainty. The battle is not an obstacle. It is a training ground. Your destiny is not intimidated by what you face. Even when you feel overwhelmed, even when you think you are falling behind, your purpose remains intact. You might stumble, you might take detours, you might face delays, but destiny does not disappear. It waits. It pulls you forward. It whispers from the future, urging you to keep going. It reminds you that this moment is not the conclusion. It is preparation. Those who fulfill great destinies are not those who never experience hardship. They are those who refuse to bow to it. Battles are invitations to rise. They force you to look inward and discover the strength that has always been there. Sometimes the struggle is not about defeating what's in front of you. It's about awakening what's inside you. You learn that you are stronger than the fear that tried to limit you. You learn that you carry more courage than you knew. You learn that the fire burning within you is greater than the storm raging around you. Destiny pulls greatness out of you, and battles are the chisels shaping your purpose. When you see life through the lens of destiny, the battle loses its power to define you. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this preparing me for?" That shift transforms pain into purpose, obstacles into opportunities, and pressure into growth. Suddenly, the mountain you face becomes a platform that elevates you. The valley becomes a classroom teaching you resilience. The darkness becomes a canvas where your faith learns to shine. Your destiny has already been written. The outcome is secure. The battle is simply the journey toward what is already yours. Do not fear the opposition, fear settling for less than what you were created to be. The path may be steep, but every step is guided. You are not walking aimlessly. You are being led toward greatness. What stands before you is not the end. It is the beginning of transformation. Hold your head high. Stand with courage. The battle is real, but so is your destiny, and it is far greater than anything trying to hold you back. You were built to win, not just survive. Deep within you is a blueprint of strength, resilience, and purpose that was designed long before you faced your first challenge. Survival is the instinct to stay alive, but winning is the determination to thrive, to rise above limitations, and to claim the fullness of life meant for you. You are not here simply to get by or to make it from one day to the next. You are here to walk boldly into purpose, to embrace the power within you, and to overcome whatever tries to stand in your way. So many people settle for survival because they have been wounded, disappointed, or convinced that life is too difficult. They shrink their dreams to fit their fears instead of expanding their courage to match their calling. But hear this truth: you were designed for more. Even when you have felt surrounded by loss, confusion, or uncertainty, there is a strength inside you that keeps pushing you forward. It is the same strength that brought you through seasons you thought would break you. It is the same power that reminded you to keep breathing when everything in you wanted to give up. That is not survival alone. That is the seed of victory. Winning is not about never falling. It is about refusing to stay down. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you are walking in the truth of who you are. Every setback you overcame was proof that your design is stronger than your circumstances. You have survived storms that others never saw, pain that tried to silence you, and battles that threatened to steal your hope. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That alone is evidence that you were built to win. Victory is not only about external success. It begins inside. It starts with the belief that you are capable, valuable, and destined for more. It starts with choosing courage when fear speaks louder. It starts with speaking life when negativity surrounds you. You win first in your mind, then in your actions. When you carry the mindset of a victor, you see challenges as opportunities and obstacles as stepping stones. The world does not shape you. You shape your world by the power of your conviction. There will be moments when life feels like a battlefield. You may feel tired, misunderstood, or alone. But even in those moments, the fire inside you continues to burn. That fire is your reminder that your existence has purpose. Winning is not a one-time event. It is a posture. It is waking up each day with determination, choosing hope over despair, and believing that something good is still possible. You were not built to collapse under pressure. You were built to transform pressure into progress. You were not placed on this earth to merely endure. You were placed here to create, to build, to inspire, to conquer. Your gifts are not accidents. Your dreams are not random. Your passions are not coincidences. They are signals pointing you toward the life you were meant to live. And even when those dreams feel distant, the journey toward them is shaping you into someone capable of carrying their weight. Your strength is not defined by what you avoid, but by what you overcome. Every time you fight through doubt, resist negativity, and choose faith over fear. You sharpen your identity as a winner. There will always be voices that tell you to stay small, stay quiet, stay safe. But winning requires that you move anyway. It requires boldness, persistence, and trust in the power that formed you. Remember this: you were built with intention. Nothing about you is accidental. Every ability you have, every experience you've lived, every challenge you've endured has equipped you for victory. You are not just a survivor of life's storms, you are a conqueror. You are here to rise, to build, to lead, to overcome. You were built to win, because winning is in your design.